There's a place every lost soul finds eventually. Not a church building, not a perfect moment.
Just a dusty crossroads between the life you lived and the life you're praying for.
Some call it surrender, some call it redemption.
But the old folks used to say
that's where the cross meets the road. I've been walking down a highway with a heart full of scars. Every mile got a memory written deep in the dark. Every wrong turn echoing like a song I regret. Every promise that I broke I still can't forget. I tried running from the truth with a bottle in my hand. Tried to drown every mistake like a runaway man. But the night has a way of reminding your soul you can't outrun the past down a lonely road. Mama used to sing hymns in the kitchen at night. Said the Lord sees the sinner the same as the righteous. Said grace don't care how far you roam, it'll meet you on the road back home. But I didn't listen back when I was younger. Back when pride burned hotter than hunger. Back when faith felt like a distant sound and mercy couldn't be found.
when the weight of the world bends your knees and the truth finally sets your heart free. When the road splits between who you were and who you're meant to be.
That's the moment everything changes.
Right where the cross meets the road, where the broken finally let go, where the lost find a light in the dark, and the healing begins in the heart. When the night feels heavy and cold, and your story feels too far gone, grace is waiting in the dust, right where the cross meets the road.
I remember one night standing under a pale street light. Rain falling slow in the middle of the night. Every mistake like a chain on my chest. Every breath feeling heavier than the rest. I thought maybe redemption was meant for saints, for people who never carried the weight of mistakes, for souls who never wandered too far from the flame, for people who never knew shame. But the strange thing about mercy I learned that night, it shines the brightest in the darkest fight. It waits in the silence when pride finally breaks and the sinner finally wakes. Cause grace don't ask about the road you've been on. It don't measure how far you gone wrong. It just waits for the moment you fall to your knees and whisper please. Right where the cross meets the road, where the broken finally let go, where the lost find a light in the dark, and the healing begins in the heart.
When the night feels heavy and cold, and your story feels too far gone, grace is waiting in the dust, right where the cross meets the road.
The world moves fast, but the soul moves slow. And sometimes the deepest truths take time to show. Sometimes faith looks nothing like a victory song. Sometimes it's just holding on.
Sometimes prayer sounds shaky and weak, like a whisper when you try to speak. Sometimes hope is just a fragile flame, barely holding through the rain. But somewhere between the doubt and fear, something holy starts drawing near, like a quiet voice through the night air, saying somebody still cares. And suddenly the road looks different. The darkness feels distant. The weight of the past feels lighter somehow, cause grace is standing there now.
Every tear that falls in the night shines like diamonds in heaven's sight. Every step through the storm and rain brings redemption a little closer again.
You might feel like you're too far gone, like the road back home is too long. But love is stronger than every scar, and mercy knows exactly where you are.
I've seen broken people find peace in a prayer, seen lost souls feel heaven in the air, seen proud hearts fall to their knees and finally breathe.
Not because life suddenly turned perfect, not because the pain disappeared, but because grace reflected, not in glory, not in fame,
but in the quiet calling of your name.
right where the cross meets the road, where the broken finally let go, where the lost find a light in the dark, and the healing begins in the heart. When the night feels heavy and cold, and your story feels too far gone, grace is waiting in the dust, right where the cross meets the road.
Sometimes you have to reach the end of yourself before you find the beginning of grace. Sometimes the road gets lonely before it leads you wide,
Right where the cross meets the road,
where forgiveness carries the load, where the past finally loosens its hold and mercy is brighter than gold. When the night fades into the dawn and your faith begins to grow,
love is waiting. Right where the cross meets the road, where the broken finally let go, where the lost find a light in the dark, and the healing begins in the heart. When the night feels heavy and cold, and your story feels too far gone, grace is waiting